Wewak Airport upgrade launched. As PM and ministers continue tour. And community development announces priority projects.
This is the National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening, this is Wednesday's news. Thanks for your company. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill arrived in Wewak this afternoon to officiate the upgrade of airport works for Boram Airport. He was welcomed by ECP Governor Alan Bird and other members from the province. Prior to the launching, PM O'Neill assured the people of East Sepik that infrastructure development is a key agenda for the government. This would see work for runway extension, new terminal and associate works. The redevelopment of the Boram Airport will cost about 50 million kina from the Asian Development Bank. Planning Minister and Yanguru Sausia MP Richard Maru says the upgrade is overdue. The Prime Minister also visited the Kaindi Nursing College and officially opened the campus. Over 40 students have enrolled for the 2019 academic year. Yesterday, the Prime Minister was in Madang to launch 3 significant projects for the province: the upgrade of a new terminal and other related facilities, construction of the 4-lane road from Madang Airport to the town, and reopening of the fallen Bana Bridge. The upgrade of the Madang Airport is funded through a loan from the Asian Development Bank at the cost of over 77 million kina.
For the second time in a week, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill returned to Madang for official engagements. This time it was the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Madang Airport and its facilities. Despite the political heat of the province, the PNG-led government received a grand welcoming by the host, a show of strength as 7 ministers accompanied the Prime Minister to officiate the project.
Inaplo triplo pobla balu sindam, na come inside na go out. Inside lo terminal, by Yumi walking all baggage check, conveyor belt, blong karim cargo, na all get something say make him easy, lo you people blong mandang na Papua New Guinea can easy lo roni we come lo this la place balu.
Construction for the new airport upgrade is hoped to begin in April with an 18-month working deadline before it's open for service in 2021. This is under the Civil Aviation Development Investment Program, which hopes to transform airports to aviation security and safety standards.
That's blah making sure Sam you make a good infrastructure, lo saving all man marry in the business community blaming. Madang town, you may walk lo cement him now. It took me 5 years to do that in Leh. We will do it in Madang.
Connecting the airport upgrade will be a 4-lane highway into Madang town. Host Governor Peter Yama says all this will boost the economy of the province and connect Madang to the world, as the airport will cater for Boeing 737 flights.
People of Madang need the service, I can assure you that. No problem whatsoever. You have a guarantee of the government of Madang support with the police detachment in the province. We are all here to support, make sure that the project runs on time, on schedule.
The CADI program will also see similar work for Vanimo and Wewak airports. Jack Lopalva Jr., National EMTV News.
After a year of waiting, the people of Sumcar and other parts of Madang will now do business normally and move easily following the reopening of the fallen Bana Bridge in Madang. Following the launch of the projects in Madang town, the Prime Minister flew to Sumcar district to reopen the Bana Bridge. Prior to the opening, he said investigations will begin into the 6 million kina funding for the bridge that was paid to the initial contractor with nothing to show for.
Hundreds turned up to witness the opening of an important public infrastructure which has been the center of debate on the floor of Parliament and making news headlines in the past 18 months. For Sumcar MP Chris Nangoy, the Bana Bridge is the link for over 20,000 people who access goods and services in town.
Big give me big ability. Where all papa and mama can move copra blow, cacao blow, boy smoke, all you can move on this road.
Early 2018, the Bana Bridge collapsed after a semi-trailer broke the middle support structure of the bridge. Since then, commuters have been forced to carry the goods by boat or use a makeshift bridge, which is a costly exercise. All that will now be a thing of the past. Prior to opening the bridge, the Prime Minister announced for an investigation into a $6 million funding by the initial contractor who did nothing but forcing Works Department to tender for another contractor to complete the bridge construction.
Direct him secretary blow works lo today, lo put him complain lo police, na arrest him man. Em work him na email ko ta safa. Mi blow ko ta safa mi like tok sore lo desla.
The new Bana Bridge infrastructure was completed within 3 months. The Prime Minister also announced the upgrade of 6 other bridges for Medeng in 2019.
There's a bridge, one blow bakama blow Tapo, one blow bakama blow Wasigo, one blow bakama blow Kou, Narbolo lo dry water, Narbolo lo Boram, and Narbolo lo Gusak. That's why it may cost him close to 100 million kina.
Jack Power Jr., National EMTV News.
They say a good opposition always keeps the government busy with a strong fight in the political arena. Well, opposition member and Medang MP Brian Kramer was around for the Prime Minister's visit yesterday in Medang. Not once, but twice, Kramer made attempts to speak. He even posted on his Facebook page stating his reasons to speak. He was stopped by police officers who claimed he did not follow protocol. The member for Medang, however, was supported by the crowd. Later in the day, the Prime Minister addressed the people of Medang at Bates Oval.
You have no protocol. No protocol. You had your done yesterday. Enough.
Talk pull up. No Kagasa come up. Only in the last 6 years we have seen something happening in this country. Because we are determined to deliver services. We don't worry about politics. Politics will be working about 2022. And I can guarantee you that I will change Medang for you. I will change Medang for you.
With the referendum on the political future of the autonomous region of Bougainville approaching, efforts to implement a key pillar of the Bougainville Peace Agreement are being put in place. A meeting of the Joint Weapons Disposal Secretariat was held in Arawa today, with representatives from the national and autonomous Bougainville governments, with support from the United Nations discussing progress in achieving this requirement of the BPA. With the target date of the referendum on Bougainville's political future some 120 days away, the outcomes from this meeting will be put forward to the Joint Technical Team for consideration and subsequently endorsement by the Joint Supervisory Body meeting. You're with National EMTV News. Stay tuned. We'll have more stories after these messages.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. PNG's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
In our harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
The Department of Lands and Physical Planning, in partnership with the National Research Institute and other key government agencies, will be hosting 4 regional workshops on customary land in Port Moresby, Medang, Kokopol and Mount Hagen. The workshops are to allow landowners to contribute to improving customary land policy and legislation leading up to the National Land Summit in May.
For further information, call us on 326-0061. The National Land Summit 2019. Our land, our life, our future.
It's on again. Back to school with Colgate and Protex. Win computer sets, sports kits and other great prizes for your school. Simply register your school to enter the competition and start collecting empty packets of Colgate brand toothpaste, toothbrush or Protex soap to earn points to win great prizes. School registration closes on February 22nd, 2019.
Are you looking for something to chew?
Yes, I am. But it's more difficult to find something to chew.
Not to chew something.
Me no kai boy, me kai PK gasa.
Sunday night on EMTV, the must-see inspirational story of 21 years of development in Enga province.
We want to make sure our secondary schools, our colleges, our primary schools, our elementary schools are the best in the country.
We want to be a role model. We want to be an example to others.
You will talk about the government that's being proactive is this one.
Enga province, 21 years of action. This Sunday at 8 p.m. on your number one to watch.
Welcome back. Gulf Governor Chris Haiveta has warned landowners of newly discovered petroleum resource projects in the province not to engage in any form of agreements with dishonest parties in exchange for cash advances. These projects include Elk Antelope, Barikewa and Kimu. Mr. Haiveta's warning comes after receiving reports that some landowners were engaging in such activities. He said any agreement from landowners for cash advances or future contracts are all deemed illegal and out of context with the oil and gas agreement and do not have the support of the Gulf provincial government. The Madang provincial government and administration have been urged to prepare for the Pacific Marine Industrial Zone. Planning Minister Richard Maru says the project will need additional water supply and 30 megawatts of power to cater for both the project and the Madang township. This will be the provincial authority's responsibility.
Whilst the Madang governor is delighted over the government's decision to have the Pacific Marine Industrial Zone overseen by the provincial government, there is still a lot of work to be done. National Planning Minister Richard Maru says the power supply and consistent power outages will not be good for the project. He urged the Governor Peter Yama to look at alternate ways to address this whilst the project is still being constructed.
The Governor needs to sit down with PNG Power and PNG Water and very quickly, while they are constructing the PMIZ, very quickly organize to also build a new water supply for Madang, which will be able to supply the PMIZ, and sit down with PNG Power very quickly and work out how do we provide the additional power that will be required.
The PMIZ project will cover at least 215 hectares of land and will cost $150 million. 10 canneries are expected to be built in this area, providing employment for over 30,000 people. According to Mr. Maru, the NEC has approved the terms of the loan agreement between the state and the Exim Bank of China, which is likely to be signed this year.
30,000 jobs. It will result in so much GST revenue coming to Madang and the country, of course. It will result in so much income tax being paid to the state.
Mr. Maru said under the scope of the PMIZ loan, it does not provide for power and water as essential utilities. Hence, it is up to the provincial government and administration to address this. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News.
The landowners of Oil Search's PNG biomass project in Markham Valley are calling on the government to allow the project to start. The project is a 16-hectare plantation of trees that will be harvested to fuel a power plant providing up to 30 megawatts into the Ramu electricity grid. The first delivery of power expected in 2020. It is supported by a 25-year power project agreement that was signed with PNG Power Limited in December 2015.
The Prime Minister and his government of the day only need look this. If they can give projects to other people inside the country, why not give us biomass now? Give it to us. Because Mibla looking mosem in terms of benefit, employment, opportunity, when come up, it's a life-changing opportunity, and biomass and bringing come inside law. This district, Makam and Yuan.
The Department of Community Development and Religion today announced some of its major projects for this year. In a media conference, Department of Community Development Secretary Anna Solomon said this year the department is more focused on capacity building. She said they will be setting up district community development centers to address social and economic issues.
In announcing the department's focus for this year, the Secretary Anna Solomon also announced some of their achievements for 2018.
So one of the major highlights from last year is the successful completion of the first informal economy audit for the country. Another major achievement is the completion of the consultation on the first law for disability in this country. Our people with disability will now have the first law.
Over the years, the country has been faced with issues of gender-based violence, low literacy rates, and lack of income-earning opportunities, and other issues which have directly affected the development of the country. The Secretary said to address these issues, the department has reviewed the integrated community development policy to focus on community development service delivery capacities in the districts.
We all know that there's been a lot of issues affecting this country in terms of a lot of families, literacy, GBV, child protection, drugs and alcohol. A lot of these issues is not new. Media, you know about them. We also know about them. Now it's what do we do to address these issues together.
The Secretary also announced a new strategic direction for the department to address the social and economic issues faced by the people. The new strategic direction is the establishment of district community development centers, which will be set up in all districts in the country. The Secretary said the district community development center will be the face of the department in the districts.
When you go to the district, you don't really have our face there. So the district center there will house our programs, GBV, child protection, disability, elderly, church partnership, and of course NGO partnerships, so that it's all coordinated when we go down to the village.
The Secretary said this year will be the year for bridging service delivery, and they will continue to make their presence known in all districts. She also thanked the government for their continuous support, which has enabled their progress and achievements over the years. Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
The government has committed 72 million kina for outstanding allowances for ward councillors nationwide. Intergovernment Minister and Wewak Open MP Kevin Isifu made the announcement on Christian Radio Light FM in Wewak recently. He said funds have been released and are now in provincial and local level government affairs accounts for final checks before payment is made to councillors. There are 6,135 wards, 313 LLGs and 89 districts in the 22 provinces. In 2016, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill announced the decision to financially empower all wards during a national development forum in Port Moresby. Ronald Jack may be a lone voice in East New Britain province calling for more awareness on HIV and other social issues to be prioritised. Mr. Jack, a veteran nursing officer, says social and health issues like HIV and AIDS should become a focus of attention in East New Britain, a province that is undergoing an economic boom.
About this love life.
Ronald Jack is a retired nursing officer who has served in the health sector for 27 years. In 2016, he founded a family-run consultancy firm, the Palm Spring Consultancy Advocacy Training. He hopes to partner with interested organizations to fill in the void left unattended within the health and social sector. Today, he runs numerous health awareness programs on social and health issues using his past experiences.
Because of the HIV prevalence from 0.9% to 2% in the last 3 years, and be more focused on the, more concentrated on these key population people.
Mr. Jack is a lone voice calling for a shift in how HIV and other cross-cutting issues in communities are being looked at.
There is not much awareness going on in the province. People are not being educated.
In recent years, there's been an unprecedented increase in statistics of people living with HIV and others who are suffering from other health and social issues. Mr. Jack says this indicates that not much attention has been given to these areas. Earlier this month, Mr. Jack hosted a one-day workshop for 30 participants in Kokopo as part of the National AIDS Council Secretariat training to advocate on the issues of HIV and AIDS. Most of those who turned up were sex workers and people living with HIV.
One play important something and me transpired out of this workshop. Me realize him now, he talking me privately. Or he talk us me play, I'm all good play, all single, or good play mama, long place, long community. But we have to go out to support our families, just to sell our bodies to get money. But the problem here is that we start to line all buying sex. People who are buying sex is the one that we should focus on.
In recent years, people have become aware but remained largely complacent about the dangers of HIV and its impact on family and social life. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
You're at Wednesday's news. When we come back, we'll have more local and international news. Stay tuned.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. P&G's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
As PNG's only ISO-accredited bulk haulage operator, IPI Transport guarantees the delivery of your critical cargo. Equipped with state-of-the-art GPS tracking systems and backed by an experienced team, you can rely on IPI Transport, part of the IPI group of companies.
Are you serious? Is this the fastest you can go? Get out of here. Internet speed with Telecom PNG. I repeat, Telecom PNG is the fastest. The fastest here in PNG. So connect today to experience the difference. Telecom PNG, always there.
My baby is growing up so quickly. And I know it is important to give him a mix of the right nutritious foods for his growth and development. So I include a bowl of Cerelac in my baby's diet every day. It's packed with the goodness of rice and soya. It's so quick and simple to prepare. And is a source of iron, vitamins A, C, and B1 essential for his development. And he loves it too. Big nutrition for small tummies.
Tonight, the mayor. After going on a date with an old flame with ulterior motives, Courtney realizes that hidden agendas also apply to dating now that he's a public figure.
I'm here because I am an idiot.
With TK and German's help, he recreates a proposal for someone he truly likes. The Mayor, tonight 7:30 p.m. right here on your number one to watch, EMTV.
Welcome back to the news. It's over a month since Central Province was hit by strong winds and heavy downpour, and while the Provincial Disaster Office was able to assess the western parts of the province, assessment for the eastern coast has only just begun. Central Governor Robert Agorobe and disaster officials visited affected areas in the Abao district today. A number of coastal villages in the Amazon Bay LLG were underwater due to strong winds and continuous rain.
Accessibility to rural stations to assess the disaster situation has caused the Central Province Disaster Office to visit the sites many weeks after the disaster happened. Government funding of 250,000 kina out of a 5 million kina promised has enabled the Provincial Disaster Office to assess the sites with another 1 million kina from the provincial government.
1,000 was already received last week with the chopper payments that now we are using. We would like to put a plan in place for the expenditure of the rest of the money that has been provided by the both governments.
Gogo Siba and Margarita in the Amazon Bay LLG of Abao District borders with Millen Bay. Coastal villages are recovering from strong winds and heavy downpour that left homes knee-deep in sea water.
Plenty houses water level go high, so plenty all house properties all house line in Bagarap.
Today's awareness that help is on its way, as most of the coastal villages have their gardens destroyed during the strong winds. Abao being the last district for Central on the eastern side, and government services have slowly disappeared.
Over the years, since independence, with the decentralization of powers back to Waigani, the sub-districts have deteriorated to the point where they're practically dead. In a lot of parts of Central Province, we have 16 LLGs. And you go to a lot of the sub-districts, there's no activity at all. Mostly in the Golala areas, Rigo, Abao, Kairuku, they're all dead.
The Central Governor, Robert Agoroba, stating it clear that it would be a part of his provincial plan to ensure rural stations are accessible.
So my job now is to come back with the administrator. We're sitting down and we're working on how to revive the sub-districts. So in part of our planning that we put in place now, we will be building the 16 LLG chambers. We're going to reopen up their strips and we're going to start doing the government charters so that we support our public servants. The teachers there, they need to get the supplies. The health workers need to get the supplies, All the technical officers here who are on the ground need to get the supplies. They pay, and then we fly staff out and we fly staff in as well.
Adelaide Sirox Kari, National, EMTV News.
Turning overseas now, properties have been destroyed and more are under threat tonight as two large bushfires burn out of control in New South Wales. Firefighters thought they'd gained the upper hand before the emergency flared again, forcing locals to flee.
The frantic search for safety. But with flames so fierce, moving so quickly, this bushland and everything in it stood little chance. Firefighters did what they could. It was a losing battle. Soaring temperatures and strong winds have created perfect firestorm conditions, fueling two large blazes in Tinga and Tabulum, which locals say took off like a freight train late yesterday.
Keep driving, big fella.
A number of properties have been burnt to the ground.
Work all your life for stuff, don't you? And then it just gets taken down, doesn't it?
The fire swept right through the Jubulum Aboriginal community on the outskirts of Tabulum. Late last night, firefighters thought they'd gained the upper hand. But this morning, the fires flared once again. And headed dangerously close to more homes, some residents stayed to fight.
You're getting too close for comfort, mate, yeah.
While for others, the risk was too great, leaving them no choice but to evacuate. More than 6,000 hectares has been burnt here in Tinga, and this blaze is still out of control. Now firefighters are preparing for another long night, protecting homes and those who live in them.
Scott Morrison has taken the extraordinary step of reopening the Christmas Island Detention Centre in a showdown over asylum seekers. The Australian Prime Minister is predicting that Australia faces a new influx of both people as both sides of politics prepare for an election battle on border protection.
The halls of Parliament ring again with protest in words and song, decrying the takeover of traditional lands as Scott Morrison addresses a new threat.
To anyone who thinks they should get on a boat, I'm here and I will stop you.
He called it direct messaging, though the message was mixed.
Our border protection laws are weaker than they were 2 days ago. That's a fact.
The medical transfer laws won't apply to any new arrivals, though Mr Morrison says that fact...
It is a nuance which the people smugglers will ignore.
Announcing he'll reopen the Christmas Island Detention Centre in case they do.
Putting out the welcome mat for people smugglers.
With Darren Hinch's vote...
I think it's the right decision.
The so-called Medivac bill passed the Senate after passing the House yesterday, inflicting the first government defeat on legislation in 80 years. Scott Morrison says there's no solid case for an early election, but for the first time since the Turnbull coup, many coalition MPs are now saying that in this border debate, he's finally found a solid case for re-election, putting any deaths of asylum seekers at sea on Labor's heads.
On your head, your head, your head, and your head.
Labor suggesting he is losing his head.
A man who is desperate to cling to office.
As this Afghan asylum seeker and others in Jakarta say they're watching closely.
We're waiting, we're looking for Australia politics, Australia Parliament, what they will decide.
And deciding themselves whether to get on a boat.
A day of reckoning for a macho boys club. A group of French male journalists have been accused of bullying their female peers through a secret social media group. Some have even been suspended, and now come the apologies now that they've been caught.
For many years, the only people aware of their existence were the victims. Women journalists mainly, but also LGBT journalists and journalists of colour, who were harassed violently online by a secret Facebook group that was formed in 2009 and made up of some 30-something high-profile but anonymous, mainly male journalists who called themselves the League of LOL, or Laugh Out Loud. Victims have accused the LOL League of orchestrating targeted harassment campaigns that would result in streams of vitriolic messages on social media platforms like Twitter.
We were younger than them, and we were just starting to be journalists, so we didn't have any confidence after that. The thing is, when this stuff happens, first you're shaking, you're blushing, you don't know how to respond. You try to respond with humor, you try to respond also with logic, but it doesn't work. You cannot focus on your work.
It took 10 years and this article by the French newspaper Libération's fact-checking website for the group to be exposed and for the names of its members to be revealed. Among them, 2 journalists at Libération itself, in what many are describing as France's own Me Too moment. CNN reached out to Facebook, but on Tuesday had received no response. Many of the journalists involved have now apologized, like Libération's Vincent Glade, the group's founder, who wrote that he was presenting his most sincere apologies to those who were harassed by the League of LOL. What happened was intolerable, and I was responsible. Or Les Inrecuptibles' David Doucet, who wrote that he did not think of the extent of the trauma that his victims had suffered. There are, he wrote, no excuses. I am sorry. Too little too late for many of their employers like Libération, the French music magazine Les Inrecuptibles, and the advertising group Publicis, who are either laying off or suspending those involved. Libération has also opened an internal investigation, and France's anti-racism body has called for the Paris prosecutor to investigate as well.
I think it's right that they should be named and shamed in article in order to make their firms, their newspaper react. But the thing is, I don't like people to be harassed on the internet, even if it's them.
It's unclear whether the original Facebook group has now been closed, but those responsible now say they're ashamed, although many wonder why it's taken 10 years for them to feel that way.
In Australia, stolen cars and unlicensed drivers are about to become a whole lot easier to find. Police cars are being fitted out with automatic number plate recognition technology, able to scan vehicles out on the road.
This new technology will allow police to nab drivers who are disqualified, suspended, or even criminals driving stolen cars. The automatic number plate recognition system has the ability to scan number plates and matches them against database of vehicles of interest.
This is about an incredible advancement, a big boost to the capability of Victoria Police to keep our roads safer and also to improve more broadly community safety.
Previously, police had to type the registration into a computer, but now this new app on an iPad will be able to catch those doing the wrong thing and allow police to make arrests.
In any one shift of highway patrol, 1 million scan of number plates, 1 million scans that we will get
just from having our cars move around.
The cars will also be fitted with an in-car video to record audio and visual evidence that can be used in court.
Around about 17% of fatalities on our road are a result of people who should not be on our roads in the first place. They're driving unregistered, they're unlicensed, they may be driving stolen cars.
Victoria Police say the new technology will allow them to make more arrests and charge those who are doing the wrong thing.
This technology has been reduced to an app on an iPad, and that is the exact platform of technology that we all use, and so Victoria Police has jumped into that space.
The first car will hit the road in Bendigo next week, with the remaining 220 to be rolled out between then and March 2021.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have stepped out in London to see an Australian play at the National History Museum. The Wider Earth retells Charles Darwin's voyage of discovery.
What do you give the couple who has everything? Tickets from a turtle, of course. The Duke and heavily pregnant Duchess of Sussex were the guests of honour at the performance of an Australian play created by two young men from Brisbane.
It's so exciting. It's sort of, I can't quite believe it.
Very nervous, but also very excited to meet them and have them in this room.
The pair showed the royals some of the 30 puppets they've made to represent the wildlife Charles Darwin encountered on his epic 1831 voyage on HMS Beagle, aged just 22.
What a lot of people don't know is just how young he was when he went on the voyage of the Beagle and came back to change history.
Not only is The Wider Earth the first commercially funded Australian theatre production to be staged in London, this is also the first time a theatre has been built in the Natural History Museum.
And they had access to the museum's world-leading experts to make sure their play was accurate. Now they're on a first-name basis with the hottest couple in the world.
In the news ahead, Highlands Conference of the National Soccer League gets underway. That and more in Trukai Sports when we come back.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. P&G's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
The Department of Lands and Physical Planning, in partnership with the National Research Institute and other key government agencies, will be hosting 4 regional workshops on customary land in Port Moresby, Madang, Cockerfall and Mount Hagen. The workshops are to allow landowners to contribute to improving customary land policy and legislation leading up to the National Land Summit in May.
For further information, call us on 326-0061. The National Land Summit 2019. Our land, our life, our future.
In our harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
Hi, with the help of Palmolive Naturals shampoo and conditioner, with these 3 quick and easy tips, I'm going to show you that more natural, beautiful hair is achievable. Step 1, massage your scalp during washing with shampoo. Step 2, apply conditioner to the tips of your hair. Step 3, gently towel dry your hair. There you have it. For natural, beautiful hair, use Palmolive Natural shampoo and conditioner. Have a great hair day.
Bomb chicka wow wow. Bomb chicka wow wow. Bomb chicka wow wow. Wow wow.
We've improved the formula. New links with added.
Bomb chicka wow wow.
Tonight on Amazing Race, 5 teams remain. Teams will leave Zimbabwe and fly more than 3,000 miles to the Kingdom of Boram in Dubai. a modern financial center that still embraces its rich Islamic tradition.
The Kingdom of Bahrain. That's great.
Teams will carry the pieces of timber across the construction site to this scale to receive their next clue. Amazing Race, tonight 8 p.m. right here on your number one to watch, EMTV.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The National Soccer League Highlands Conference kicked off last week Sunday in Goroka, Eastern Highlands Province. The Highlands region will be heading into round 2 of matches, while the New Guinea Islands NSL Conference will begin competition this weekend.
PNG Football Association President John Capinato kicked off the Highlands Conference tournament. The new look National Soccer League has become more inclusive to all regions of the country, allowing the game to be played by everyone. During the launch of the Highlands Conference, President Capinato announced an increase in prize money. In total, 200,000 kina will be up for grabs, with the overall winner walking away with 100,000 kina. The runner-up 50,000 kina, third place winner will receive 30,000 kina, and the team in fourth place will get 20,000 kina. The Highlands Conference kicked off with Aporomai FC thrashing Engalaima 5-0, while Simbu Angra and Blue Kumos drew 1-1. The New Guinea Islands National Soccer League competition will begin this weekend in Kimbe, West New Britain Province. 5 teams have been confirmed to participate in the tournament. Elijah Levet, National MTV Sports.
To AFL now, preparations to get the national teams ready for International Cup title has begun. South Pacific Development Manager Ben Drew says selections for the national teams will come from the national AFL tournaments expected to start in the weeks ahead.
About to get together and start planning to launch the International Cup from AFL House. I know the guys in PNG are very keen and will work very closely with the Australian Football Commission and AFL PNG Development, and they'll work very closely in preparing and doing all the selections and getting everybody ready for the Mosquitoes and the Flames, and those plans they'll start getting together over the next month or so, just to start nutting out that 18-month plan to lead into there. With the high performance here starting to spread their wings around the country, it makes it a lot more accessible for athletes to get quality strength conditioning and preparation in leading into great tournaments. Aussies Flames, just look for the Flames to keep going up the rankings, and the Mozzies to hold their spot and keep playing in the grand final and hopefully get a three-peat for them.
To rugby, and Kimberly Rapila, the former captain of the Palais, the women's national side, says their finish at the recent Sydney Sevens may not be the outcome they expected, but it certainly helped them identify areas of weaknesses. She says despite being placed in the pool of stronger teams, the Palais gave it their all.
Placed in one of the strongest pools, the ICTSI Palais gave it their all as they knew what they were up against in their recent tournament in Sydney. Playing some of the toughest teams, France, England and New Zealand, the aim was to get on the scoreboard in all of the 3 matches.
I thought
Kimberly Rapila says looking back at the game, the team has certainly improved and have seen some improvement since their last match in Sydney last year.
We were in a really tough pool, New Zealand, France and England, pool of death. But I thought our performance improved from the previous tournaments, especially the Sydney Sevens in particular, especially the game against New Zealand.
She says watching the video analysis with the team, a lot of errors which were picked out will be worked on if the team is to succeed in future tournaments.
A lot of areas to work on coming back from the Sydney Sevens. We picked that up from our video analysis, and that's what we'll be working on in this upcoming camps we have here for Hong Kong. So yeah, basically that's what and a lot of hard work ahead of us, so yeah.
The team may have not received the outcome they hoped for, but a lot of hard work and commitment lies ahead of them.
Not the results we wanted, but a lot of promising signs and a lot of we can work on leading up to the Hong Kong Sevens.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports returns with more action after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. PNG's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
Are you looking for something to chew?
Yes, I am. But it's more difficult to find something to chew.
Not to chew something.
Me no kai kai boy, me kai kai PK gasa.
Are you serious? Is this the fastest you can go? Get out of here. Internet speed with Telecom PNG. I repeat, Telecom PNG is the fastest. The fastest here in PNG. So connect today to experience the difference. Telecom PNG, always there.
Papua New Guinea, the most diverse country in the world. Rapidly growing, rapidly evolving. Through it all, your number one station has seen it all. The one station providing news and entertainment like no other. Stay informed and stay ahead with the number one news bulletin with reports from our correspondents right across the country, covering news, current affairs, sports and entertainment. 4 million viewers right across the country. MTV since 1987, still your number one.
I love the way you taste.
I love the easy meal. I love family dinner time.
I love my true guy.
I love the quality. I love the yummy smell.
I love the energy and strength.
I love my true guy.
So many reasons, all of us agreeing. So put on your t-shirts and let's all sing.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
Let's sing it again.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
PNG's rice, the very best rice. Cause we all love a true guy.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To overseas now, some of footy's legendary tough men are getting behind the AFL's decision to crack down on punches. From the start of the new season, any punch thrown will immediately be penalised, which is set to test control of the AFL's hotheads.
Zero tolerance on punches.
Nice jumper punch there.
Soft or hard, now any clenched fist strike will result in a free kick. Are we over-sanitising the game?
I think we've done that a long time ago.
Norm Smith medalist David Rhys-Jones
Legal and Rhys-Jones, and there's no love.
was reported a record 25 times, but surprisingly backs the punching clampdown.
Blokes line up on each other and they give each other a niggle, a little buddy one in the guts like that, and, unnecessary, and it's not real tough.
But for this magpie hard man, it's going too far.
A little tap with a fist when you've lost the plot 30 seconds out in the grand final and it costs you a goal. Gee, I reckon there could be riots at the MCG.
Current players welcome clarification.
It's a good move by the AFL to, crack down on it. It's not something that we want to see or something that we want to promote.
And at Collingwood training,
Go Pies!
Fans backed, penalising the punch.
It doesn't send a good message to the kids.
It's not a boxing match, it's a game of football.
It's not the same game we played, and you've got to accept that and get on with it.
And according to this reformed rogue, that's for the best.
The game's better for it anyway.
I can't believe you're saying.
Neither could I.
Keep punching.
And that ends Trukai Sports. Up next, the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Original, classy and elegant is our winning combination. At Queen Emma Chocolate, we are passionate about creating PNG's very own chocolate from locally grown cocoa. That is why, from bean to bar, we ensure the quality is at the core of our products. PNG's very own chocolate, perfect for any occasion. Share the taste of success with Queen Emma Chocolate.
At Brian Bell Home Centers, we know that good sports always win. Whether you're kicking the goal for your team or reaching for great heights, pushing a little harder to go that extra mile to achieve your personal best. So when you're ready to unleash the champion within, go to Brian Bell Home Centers. We have everything you need to make your sports activities a winning experience.
Public awareness from IRC, payment due dates for goods and services tax, 21st of the month. Salary and wages tax, 7th of the month. Company income tax, 30 days after notice of assessment. Personal income tax, 30 days after notice of assessment. Stamp duty due on assessment are the withholding taxes on declaration.
Lodge appropriate tax return which is also due on the due date as the payment date. Payment methods include FPOS. All bank debit cards are accepted at FPOS terminals at our regional centers and provincial offices. Credit cards are not accepted. Bill pay. IRC bill and name is Internal Revenue Commission, code 11628. EFT direct payment. Bank credit transfer application, bank check, bank draft. IRC is no longer accepting personal company check payments. You must include your TIN and name, tax being paid, tax period, payment date and amount, your electronic payment receipt. For more information on making tax payments or to obtain copies of your receipts, call 322-6548 or 322-6773 or visit www.irc.gov.pg.
This message is authorized by the Commissioner General, IRC.
Tonight on Marvel Runaways, Victor bleeds out as the bride members arrive to try and patch him up.
How are gloves gonna help? He's about to die. You need to do something.
Leslie has Frank arrive to use his healing gloves, but it sends Victor into a coma.
Pulse is faint. Skin's cold. He's in shock, but...
Marvel Runaways. Tonight, 9 p.m. right here on your number one to watch, MTV.
In our harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A quick look at the weather in the southern region. Brief showers in Port Moresby. It's squally showers in Alotau, cloudy with some showers in Popondetta, cloudy weather in Kerema and fine weather, although cloudy in Daru. In the Mamasa region, few showers in Leh and Wau, cloudy in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine in Lorengau, cloudy weather with some showers in Kavieng, Kokoporabao and Kimbe and showers in Buka. And in the Highlands region, a shower or two in Mount Hagen, few showers in Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And before we go, it is that time of the year when you get to spend that special day with a special someone. For this year's Valentine's Day, it may be about buying a perfect shoe or a perfect dress or an expensive jewelry for your Valentine. But if that's not to your liking and you're a pet lover and want a friend with 4 legs, you might want to visit RSPCA and make Valentine's Day extra special.
To make this Valentine's Day special, RSPCA has dogs and cats available for adoption.
Well, I think it's really beneficial for people to have pets in their lives because they bring love into your life and into your family all year round. It's not just on Valentine's Day. And if you ask a lot of pet owners, pets are very loyal. So you don't sort of have that problem you have with human relationships, I should say. And they're also they're really good companions. So another being to hang around with.
Bridget says while pets are good companion, each of the dogs and cats have a personality of their own. Not only that, pets like dogs and cats are also good for children, especially to do with discipline.
Similar to human beings, animals have their own unique personalities and their own likes and dislikes, and it's always good to sort that out before you actually adopt an animal into the family. For the cats, we've got them up at the clinic. We've got 2 adult cats who are very independent women, I should say, so they'd be good for, I guess, senior citizens who just want somebody to sit on the couch with and watch TV or laze out on a Sunday evening on the veranda. They're those sorts of cats. They're not, what shall I say, as active as the kittens would be.
At RSPCA, I met a dog called Maringa with 3 legs who is so attached to his caretaker.
Oh, look, he's made a friend. You have to take him home now.
While Bridget enjoys her job, it is the compassion that she has for these animals that is emotional.
It's an emotional process for me because when they come in, that's when we meet them for the first time. A lot of them come in from really unfortunate circumstances. They've been abandoned or they've just, been roaming on the streets. So they come in all mangy and skinny, and we help to rebuild basically their lives, not just physically, but their spirits as well. So we get a lot of volunteers involved in that to help us with rehabilitation and socialization. Our kennel hands and our clinic staff are always there with medical assistance.
If interested, you might want to make it your business to visit RSPCA and adopt one of the many pets awaiting a friend on this Valentine's Day. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
And that's the way it is this Wednesday, the 13th of February. On behalf of the news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods and Paradise Beverages.